Abductions have become a new weapon in Manipur's politics. Abductions have become a tool for the militants to enforce their version of the events in the state. The 13 May killing of Kuki religious figures triggered fresh rounds of abductions that may have a far-reaching impact on Manipur conflict. The state is gripped by complete paralysis. National highways and state highways have become almost non-functional. Essential supply to the valley is affected. What is a bigger cause of concern is that the state, instead of moving towards a peaceful rhythm, has stumbled into another abyss of political uncertainty. This has happened despite a government in place. The state is witnessing a new phase in the cycle of violence. First, Nagas now are a part of the conflict. That's one. Second, Kukis and Nagas are fighting with each other. Third, violence has led to killing of religious figures. Fourth, the violence is affecting the middle rim of Manipur. The middle rim lies where valley meets the highlands. Fifth, the affected areas are where mixed population exists. Sixth, continued violence is further leading to internal migration and more areas are becoming single community dominated. Seventh, highways are not functioning properly, creating problem for the people. Eighth, abductions have again started and militants are making it a political tool to demand concessions. Ninth, problem is politics of shutdown. It is affecting normal day-to-day activities of people. 10th, people have remained peaceful barring few protests. Post 13th of May abductions and counter-abductions have taken place in Manipur. The shutdown has been extended. This is not a good sign. Nagas and Kukis have made counter claims on who is holding how many people. Central paramilitary has gone out of the way to rescue people from different areas of Manipur. The net result is that areas with mixed population are reducing by the day. It creates a neat ethnic division within the state of Manipur. It is unhealthy. The big impact is India's Act East policy has become affected. Moreh was supposed to be the border in Manipur that would have connected Northeast with Southeast Asia. It has all been reduced to dust. So the big question I ask today is, how can the business of abduction be busted? How can shutdown politics be ended? How can we secure highways to the benefit of common people? And today, I am joined by Lieutenant General Shaukin Chauhan, author and defense strategy expert, Rajat Sethi, former political advisor to N. Biren Singh, Hijang Misao, social activist, Gai Khangjang Gangmai, social activist from Manipur, and Rami Niranjan Desai, author and distinguished fellow India Foundation. I thank all of you for joining me. I am not going to get into numbers. I'll straight away go to Rami Niranjan Desai. Rami, it's so good to see you on Manipur again. My opening question is to you. Why the situation has played up, and the third party getting into this conflict, what does it tell us about Manipur now?
Karthike, good evening. It's great to be back. Unfortunately, I am back on your show again with a debate that has to do with the unending conflict in Manipur, which is something that we have followed very closely ever since the conflict started. And if you remember, in our many debates together, I said, you know, Manipur is a very, very different case to other states in the Northeast because there are multiple communities, ethnicities that reside together. You know, there is a three-way community, majority communities that live in Manipur. And when the conflict started, it was between two communities.
Okay, there's a bit of a problem. Rami, I'll come to you. There's a bit of a problem in your audio. General Chauhan, third community becoming part of it. I was speaking to my friends who are part of Assam Rifle. They're saying that with three people in this conflict, it is going to have deep consequences.
Good evening, Karthik. Nice to be back on your show after a while. No, the idea is that, you know, we have to, when you say Nagas, and unless you identify which tribe of the Nagas is involved, it's always a difficult process because we can't get the geographical point at which this particular thing has happened. Now, when you talk of Nagas, you're talking of the Tangkhul Nagas of Ukhrul. They've had a long history of acrimony with the Kukis. I remember as a young officer in 1988, 89, 90, when I was in Ukhrul, the Tangkhuls and the Kukis were at that time also fighting with each other. We added and it ended in a uncertain peace Then, of course, you had the Kukis and the Maitis, and now you've added the Tangkuls back again. But the people who got killed are from the Thadao community. And slowly by slowly, we are seeing that more communities of the Nagas, because Manipur doesn't have just the Tangkuls, it has the Mao Nagas, it has the Pochuri Nagas, it has a whole lot of different Naga communities. And slowly by slowly, these communities are getting sucked in. But at the same time, we have to realize that the Kukis are not weak people, not weak groups, and they will always have the ability because of the change outside in Myanmar to deal with these issues. So somewhere about the line, Karthik, we have to find a via media to get the Kukis, Tangkuls, and the Maitis and all the other communities together. And unless they come, will now be moving towards a racially divided Manipur. One controls the road, the other controls the valley, the third controls the road to Myanmar, and our Act East policy, as you said, is absolutely dead on water.
Okay. Let me take opening comment from Mr. Gangwai. Sir, thank you so much for joining me on such a short notice. Your opening comments on what we see today, because I'm going to come on the business of abductions a little later, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Kartike and our teams. I'm Mr. Gakamjan. I'm Rongmai communities. I'm from Tupul village, None districts. Thank you for inviting me. Kartike, I want to share first regarding this. I will not talk on the long story of conflicts in Manipur, but let me try to come in this 13th May incidents. And I want to give a little bit about the route of the Reverend Bumtang Sitlo, that is connecting to my village on the highway. So let me tell about the route a little bit, and I want to tell about the relations of this Reverend Bumtang Sitlo with the community, with Naga community Rongmai. He is a very close relationship with the Rongmai communities. His father is Pakho. He married to a Rongmai community from Senpang. He married to a woman, the Rongmai community from Senpang, and she is a Gangmai. I'm also Gangmai, Gangmai community. So we have a good relations with Reverend Bumtang Sitlo. He is the one who brings Christianity to Rongmai community. That is backgrounds of Bumtang Sitlos and the Rongmai communities. And coming to these 13 incidents, I want to tell a little bit about the route of Bumtang Sitlo. Say we have last point of boundary called a None boundary at the called a village Zauzengtek. Zauzengtek is a Kuki community's village just bordering to the Henglef and last village of Nongba constituency and None district. Mm-hmm. They are coming from this route. They are coming from this route to Dolangs, one village again. Dolang is a Chino communities. And after that, they cross to Sangzi. That is a Naga village again. And after that, there is called Lamdangmai. That is a Chiru village again, Chiru village community. After that, they cross to this Bitiang. Just crossing the Lamdangmai, there is called a Bitiang again. That is also a Rongmai community village. And soon after that, go through, there is a Tokomzen. That is also a Rongmai community.
Okay.
Last point at the highway is Tupul. This connect to this Kot Lane and highway go to this Kot Jim village.
So what's
this
the point,
is
sir?
The route of, yeah. So this is the route of the route of the incidents, and it was happened in the Kot Jim. So the that which we claim and counter claims, I believe if the Naga is really serious about the life of Buntang, and this is a long distance that Naga could do or could make it, but why it is in the heart of
okay.
this community? That is that's a background of the journey.
Okay.
And here I will not tell about the long conflict, but let me tell about the humanitarian basis. Yes, Kartike? Yes.
Yeah, I just need to take opening comments from other people, you know. We
Yeah,
function
okay.
on limited time. I'm sorry, sir, so is the nature of this medium. It's TV. Rajat, to you. What has happened after 13, that abductions and counter-abductions have taken place. Today, shutdowns have, was extended. And I am aware that the central paramilitary forces are working overtime to send people from one area to another area so that, they can be secured. And they're under tremendous stress, from Assam Rifles to others. But Assam Rifles is the pivot, the sort of work they are doing.
So, I mean, Kartikeyaji, I am not very optimistic on the situation. This is one fear that I always had. It has now reached to a level where if the two tribal communities also, the Nagas and the Kukis get into this, the scars, the old scars, 3-decade-old scars will be surfaced. And we have seen how ghettoization has happened in each of these districts which had mixed population, especially Ukhrul, Senapati, Kankokpi, None, all of these, including in Churachandpur also. I just fear that this is a perfect tinderbox situation. It doesn't matter what the issue is, even a small spark can actually burn down villages after villages, and therefore the situation is extremely grim. I don't understand if Assam Rifles will have the locus here to actually go out and address these issues, because these issues are of huge distrust. It's not even political anymore. I mean, for a long time it was said that, hey, it is the BJP government and its policy led by Biren Singh which created schism between two communities. Here that is not the case. And this entire thing has gone beyond the state control. It has largely, the power, the locus of control has shifted to these insurgent groups, and UNC and the other insurgent groups on the Naga side. Not UNC per se. UNC is a representative body, but the insurgent groups on the Naga side, as well as on the Kuki side, are just having their free writ. They're doing whatever they deem fit. I don't think Assam Rifles will be able to control the situation, because there are just so many villages, village after villages, which has mixed population. And how many villages can you man? There is a human limit to deployments as well. So I'm therefore very pessimistic. Don't expect optimism on this situation from me. I don't have any solution that I can foresee. I mean, right now in this abduction scenario, what I'm hearing is that 6 Naga community members are just missing. I mean, in spite of all the outreaches, there is no way you can find it, which, the worst fears are now coming out, and Naga community is saying that if they are, God forbid, killed in action or whatever, you will see huge response from the Naga community. And if NSC and IM activates, and, it's just a slippery slope which will just not stop.
Okay.
Yeah, so the community leaders have to really go at a lightning speed to contain this situation. Otherwise, there is no end in sight.
Okay.
It becomes so entrenched that I have no answer. Yeah.
Misao, your opening comments, and there are 4 points I'm going to throw to my panelists, and I'll start with Rami, and then we can discuss all of them. Your opening comments, Misao.
Kartiki, thank you for this. So once again, what I have said earlier, the elements or the forces that lead the fire in Ukhrul districts, unfortunately, is also successful in leading the fire in other districts, which also resulted into the death of 3 pastors and also holding hostages from its community. Now, what I would say now here is, I think the sense of sanity from both the community has to prevail. If we fight for supremacy, and if we are also looking for who is right and wrong at this juncture, I think we are plunging into such a situation where there will be a situation where it will be difficult to come back. Now, I would request, the CSOs to also, put the leverage on their community, and then also find a solution by also releasing the hostages from its side. At the same time, I would also request the government, if the government has such a strong will, why would these hostages still be in the hands of those militants or whichever it is? Now, what the approach now is that, I mean, if operation is done, it has to be done on both sides. It should not be a one-sided operation.
Okay.
That's how the state also has to treat carefully. If not, there's always, I mean, a chance of misconstruing the step taken by the government, which will fuel the misunderstanding.
Okay, Rami, now to you. Rami, there are 4 points which I have made. The first point is, highways, state highways, national highways, not functional. Second point I have made, this sudden mass abductions that have started to take place. I mean, it's not one or two people. You're just picking people off the road. Third, the entire action is taking place, if I divide Manipur into 3 parts, outer rim, inner rim, and the middle rim. It's taking place where the valley and the mountains meet, in the first ridge line. The entire conflict is taking place there. And the fourth, it is leading to a silent ghettoization within Manipur. When we say Manipur's territorial integrity needs to be intact, I know what I say. Yes, it should be intact. It's a position Misao differs from me. I stand by it, but we are still on the same show after 3 years. But what has happened is, it is leading to creation of the homogeneous areas of ethnicities, which is not good. Something which India has witnessed in many urban areas post big riots in 1980s and 90s. Similar thing is happening in Manipur, and I find it very disturbing, Rami.
Absolutely, Karthikeya. I'm not sure if you could hear me the last time, but it's sad. Can you hear me now?
Yes, absolutely.
It's sad that every time I come on your show, it is when there is conflict in Manipur, and it hasn't abated in a while. I think, we have to look at the central problem. We've seen this sort of ghettoization before as well. Nobody wants to rake up the past, but when the Kuki Naga conflict had happened in the 90s, Moreh was completely wiped out of the Nagas, and there wasn't any resettlement. So, a precedent was set wherein this was almost not needed. Ghettoization had become permanent, and it continues now with every conflict, and that is the case even when the Meitei-Kuki conflict happened, that even today the Meiteis have not been able to go back to their original homes, and vice versa. The IDPs are as they say. Now, that is a very sad situation to be in. But now, if you remember from the very beginning, when we started this discussion, I kept repeating that the worst thing for Manipur will be, and people forget that it's a different state to other states in the northeast because of the multiple communities that reside there, are permanent communities in Manipur. If the third community was to get involved, this was always our fear. And we have seen this slowly crop up. This has not happened in the last 5 days. This has been happening in the last couple of months. We saw some small clashes between the Nagas and the Kukis even earlier last month. And this has been sort of brewing, and now it's come to this, that it's become a bigger situation than we can see any solution to. But the problem also is, and this has been a central problem, that a lot of these communities in the insurgent groups, that are in Manipur and from all the communities, feel that their control over highways, their control over national assets is something that is rightfully theirs. Therefore, this entire illegal taxation system has become almost institutionalized, and that is what they leverage on every time there's a conflict. What has happened this time? UNC is also announced an economic blockade. We've seen that when the security forces have gone to arrest some Kuki leaders, civilians have come out and done a blockade. This is a very tough situation for security forces. What are they meant to do? And finally, who does it impact? It impacts the common man who's not a part of the insurgent group, who's not a part of any of these, the politics of all of this, who's not a part of any of this conflict. It impacts them.